G'day, I'm Guy Allen. Welcome to Motorcycle TV. Big fella with me at the moment is Yamaha's XTZ 1200. Now this has been out for a couple of years. It's also known as a Super Tenere. Now the Super Tenere name has been around a very long time. We first saw it in 1989, believe it or not, on a twin-cylinder 750 5-valve per cylinder bike. This bike, things have moved on a little bit. It's a 4-valve per cylinder engine, still a parallel twin, but it's a 1200, claiming about 112 horsepower. Not a huge amount of power, but this is a sort of motor that's a big, loping, relaxed kind of engine, so it's actually fine. It's got plenty of performance. It's not exactly going to blow away, weighs about 265 kilos fully wet. Now, like all these big adventure motorcycles, you're kidding yourself if you're calling it an off-road bike. It's not. It's too big. If the thing jumps on you, it's probably going to be the last thing you do for a long time. These things are big adventure tourers, and that's what they actually are. They're touring bikes. So snotty dirt road, probably not going to be a big issue on it. Off-road, no, too hard. These things happen to be really good road tourers, as I've said in the past. They've got big, long travel suspension, very supple, fantastic ride. Funnily enough, they'll give a sports bike a pretty big run for their money too on a bumpy road because they just soak up the rough terrain so well. Anyway, back to this bike. Enough power, very sophisticated electronics, ABS both ends, you've got traction control, you've also got electronically adjustable suspension, fairly high-end suspension at that. So while it's a big heavy motorcycle, it's actually quite an easy thing to throw around. Big wide handlebars, of course, very, very comfortable riding position, a lot of adjustability built into the seating, and a huge amount of legroom, probably as much legroom as you'll come across on any motorcycle out there. And let's not forget one of my favourite features, cruise control. What a great thing to have for a long distance. Yamaha asks about 20,000 plus on road costs for this bike, which is actually, when you look at the spec, is pretty competitive. Up front you've got a dash that again has a lot of information. I particularly like the feature where it tells you how much range you've got left. That's actually a useful piece of information. Overall, very straightforward, simple bike to ride. About medium to slowish steering, easy to chuck around, comfortable suspension but good control. Brakes are nice and solid, monoblocks up front, we've seen them for years. They still work really well. Really nothing to complain about. It's a good competitive offering. You're actually spoiled for choice in this market. I must mention though, that this has got one huge advantage for this style of motorcycle: shaft drive. Might add to the weight, but it means you have zero maintenance for the drive line, regardless of where you take it or how long you ride for. And that to me is a major benefit. So anyway, worth a look if you're in the market for a big adventure motorcycle. Look for the full story in Motorcycle Trader magazine.